Okay, so rent versus buy comes up all the time, and people are trying to understand what makes more sense. And honestly, it can be confusing because I think most people focus on just the actual mortgage payment versus the rent payment when there's a lot more to it. So, what I want to do in this video is actually break it down, but I have a real example that I think is perfect for either a first time home buyer or maybe a senior that wants to avoid high senior living costs. So I got a real estate agent I work with, phenomenal agent up in the Palatine area. Her name is Laura Brower with Remax Suburban. She's got a brand new listing. It's not going to hang around long because anything below 200,000 is moving very quick in this market. But it's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It is a townhouse, but it's a single level, bedroom and bath. So once again, perfect for a first time home buyer or a senior, obviously not going up and down stairs and so forth.
What we're going to do is jump over to some of the numbers and break down why it makes more sense to own versus rent. I'll be the first to tell you, everybody's situation is a little bit different. So if you would only be living in the area for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, probably doesn't make sense to own, because there are some upfront costs like down payments. Even though there are low options, there's still initial costs. But the longer you live in the place, of course, you're going to get appreciation over time, and you're going to pay down your mortgage. That amortization is going to be going down, creating equity, right? What you owe versus what it's worth, and that's real money, real value. So let's do the analysis, the breakdown. Year one, if you own it, your carrying cost for the principal and interest of the mortgage is around $1,200. Property taxes $693, regular maintenance $77. So you're just around $2,000. We're renting in that area closer to $1,500. So it's a decent difference there. But rent goes up over time. So we're forecasting at roughly 6% increase. Your rent would be over $2,400 in year 9. Now, that's with the mortgage. What people are getting, obviously, right now are 30-year fixed mortgages, and that stays flat, right? So you're not going to see your housing payment go up. Now, you might say property taxes go up, but this home, actually, taxes we're using do not have homeowners exemptions filed against it. So taxes would be going down once somebody were to move in there and file that exemption. This bar chart here gives us a good comparison that once you get to year 6, that's when it starts to cross over and make more sense to own versus rent. This highlights negative $7,900. It doesn't look on the surface like it makes sense, but once you really get into the details and you look at the appreciation over the 9-year span, and you look at paying down the mortgage over the 9-year span, you can see you're way ahead, obviously in the green, over almost $122,000, $23,000 versus that $8,000. Other things to consider is based on your tax benefits, right? You get a write-off the mortgage interest. That's over $7,300. So, once again, if you're living there for only a couple of years, renting's the way to go. But if you're going to stay there for 5, 6, 9 years or on, definitely makes sense to own a home.